Hi y'all, Easy Slider here. Long distance relationships, questions and answers. I'd like to welcome everybody today, and we're going to just get into the answers and talking about the things that I hear a lot. And as always, if you have a comment or you have a question, just put it below in the comment section and we'll try to get you an answer. Now, where I won't be interrupting our question and answer session, let me just please remind you to subscribe. That way you'll be able to always enjoy all of our updated content, and it'll be beneficial to you and beneficial to us. You know, we're trying to grow our channel. We've got our goals set, and we need you to help us. Help us reach those goals. That way we can reach more people. All right? All right, now let's get into a few of the questions and see if we can shed a little bit of light on some of them. The first question is, I've seen a few YouTube videos that show women cooking on open fires inside the house. I think that might be a fake picture, but I thought I would ask if you've ever seen anything like this. Well, I see we're starting off with an interesting question. Yeah, I too have seen the YouTubes of women cooking inside the house with an open fire, and even outside with open fires. And you know, it's kind of like a camping trip's what it looks like, but come on, honestly, you don't believe that, do you? Well, you better. Because it's true. Naturally, you don't see as much of it in the city. What you see in the city a little bit is you might see somebody cooking something out on the sidewalk. I remember when I was going to the airport early one morning, and right out on the sidewalk they had a fire built, and they were cooking. Oh. All right, where you see it mostly is you see it in the province, and it's pretty common. And to kind of help you understand the Philippines a little better, you might want to think of the United States way back years ago, okay? A lot of the things that you see is like it used to be here years ago. I guess you could just think of it kind of as a family barbecue. But yes, it is true, and yes, it is common. So just prepare yourself for that. Our next question. Can you give us a little insight into the mass transit and how good is it? That's a great question. We really need to break it down into two areas, the city and the province. All right, so I'm going to just go along here and kind of comment on both. And we'll talk about trikes first, all right? In the city and some of the provinces areas, trikes are not allowed to go on certain streets. What that usually means is if you get a trike and you're going somewhere, what they have to do is try to get an alternate route to get you to your destination, but in most cases they can. Trikes are very common. It's a very common means of transportation, and they can be found in abundance in the cities and the province. The cost, a wide range. In some areas they're very cheap. In other areas it might cost you as much as a cab. I've had that happen a few times. Don't expect them to be real comfortable, but they really are a good way of getting around. All right. Next, let's talk about cabs. Cabs are easily found in both city and province. However, in some areas it might be harder to find a cab. All right. Even in the cities where the cabs are in abundance, it might be hard to get one. They might be full, and that kind of depends on the area that you're in, and it kind of depends on the time of the day. I remember trying to go back to my condo from Rizal Park or Luneta Park, and in the evening time, after it was getting close to dark. And when that happened, it was very hard to get a cab, even though there were hundreds of them, because every cab was full. It would be extra hard that time of night to catch a cab. And in a couple of cases, I wasn't able to, and I had to get a jeepney. And that's another story. All right. Prices. The prices on cabs, they're supposed to have all of them have a meter, and they're supposed to use the meter to determine your price. If they use the meter to determine your price, then actually the cabs are very, very reasonable. You can travel a pretty good distance in them for a reasonable amount of money. However, what I've seen happening is a lot of the cab drivers are shutting their meters off, and when you get in and ask them, or tell them where you want to go, they'll say, how much will you give me? How much will you pay me? And so we'll use the meter, and they go, no. And it's harder and harder now to get them to use the meter, which is against the law. They're supposed to use the meter. And it can be really frustrating. I know I've got in before and asked them to turn the meter on, and they wouldn't. I just get out. So you have to be careful of that, because you can easily end up paying a whole lot more for your ride than what you would if the meter was running. And so that's a real problem with them. All right, Uber's nothing more than a cab, and you hail it on an app on your phone. They have to sign up for Uber and be approved by Uber to become an Uber driver. And what happens if once you put on there where you want to go, your destination appears to them, and they will call you and quote you a price. They'll say, well, I'll pick you up for this much and take you to there. And usually the wait is not real long for an Uber, and so it's actually a pretty good way to go around. Generally, the Uber cars are newer and they're better riding. And when I say they're better riding, I have a big smile come on my face, because it seemed like every taxi cab I got in Manila, the check engine light was on. In the Uber, I didn't see any of them, and they're newer. They have to drive newer vehicles. Now, the price is a little bit higher than if you were running by the meter in a taxi cab. And so you might think, oh, that's not good. They can be expensive, but actually, the Uber can save you some money, because when they quote you that price, it don't matter if they run into a problem that delays them, they still charge you that price. Now, I'll give you an example of what happened to me. I would go to the mall, but when I come back, I had to go a different route because of the way the streets were set up, and it was a very congested area. And I could go to the mall for about 100 pesos, or about $2. But coming back, you got in this really congested area, and there was a traffic light, and I remember sitting at that traffic light sometimes four times through the light, and I'm just watching the meter ticking away. So what I could do for 100 pesos coming back might be 300 pesos or $6. So Uber can save you money. They'll quote you a price. If they sit through 4 lights, it don't matter. The price is the same. So that's always an option. Scooter. It's nothing but a motor scooter, and you ride behind the driver. And the method's pretty simple. You just negotiate a price with the driver, and he gives you a helmet, and you get on the back of the scooter, and maybe it's pouring down rain, maybe it's not. If it's pouring down rain, he might give you a raincoat. Very reasonable price. But a lot of people don't like to ride on the back of a scooter. All right, jeepney. Oh boy, there's no shortage of jeepneys. However, you do need to understand that where you're going, where you're riding in a jeepney, might require that you move from one jeepney to a different jeepney to another jeepney. You have to find that out. What you have to be able to do is look down the street and see a jeepney coming, and there's tons of them, all right? You have to look in the window and read the small sign in the window, and it tells you where the jeepney is going. And they might be 3 or 4 destinations there, all right? Then you have to flag down the jeepney, and the back of the jeepney is open, so you just step up into the jeepney and into the rear, and you take a seat. Okay, for the Western men, for those of us that are taller than the Asian people, the jeepneys are not designed for Western people. They are designed for the Asian people that are a lot shorter than us. And I can tell you that good chance your head is going to hit the ceiling in that jeepney. I can't tell you how many times my head bumping on the top of that thing. So that's the thing. Then you pass your money up. And there's a row of seats on each side, and you might have 8 or 10 people on each row, and each one of them will pass your money up. Then if you get change, they'll pass it back down to you. So everybody's swapping money with everybody, all right? It's hilarious. But the good thing is it's really cheap. You can ride for a long time on a jeepney for like 15 cents. All right? But take into consideration the sides are open. I mean, they're up, but they're like a window area is open. So there's no air conditioning. There's no air conditioning. If it rains, they have a little plastic they can usually pull down over the window from keep you from getting wet. But you're going to be extra hot in there because there's no air conditioning. All right. So just remember, they're not really comfortable, but they are very cheap because they're regulated by the government. Buses. Buses are great for long distances, and they're usually very comfortable. They have a TV, have an air conditioner, but don't think of them the same as the buses in the West. They're a little different in several ways. They're usually bus terminals, and what you do is you go to the bus terminal, and there may be anywhere from 15 or 20 buses there to over 100 buses there. And you find the bus with the name of the city where you want to go. Now, it's a little tricky because sometimes it won't have the name of the city where you want to go. It'll have a city on down the line, so you have to figure out, are you passing through your city to get to that one? But all you have to do is just ask somebody, and they're very friendly. They'll help you, and they'll tell you. And so, it's easy to find the bus like that. And they don't run on schedule. All right, the bus is sitting there, and you get on the bus where you're going, and when it gets full, it leaves. Now, it's usually not a long wait, though, because there's usually a lot of people, unless it's maybe late at night. But I thought one morning I'm going to get up at like 5 o'clock because I got a couple-hour bus ride. I'll get on the bus, and it'll be easy to get a seat on the bus. And I was dreaming. I got to the bus station at like 6 o'clock. There was hundreds of people in the line. Now, once the bus leaves the terminal, say for instance you don't go to the terminal, but you know the bus comes by where you are, you can just wave the bus down and it'll stop and pick you up, and you can get on, and just flag it down. When you get on the bus, the attendant will give you a ticket. You tell him where you're going, he'll give you a ticket. After he's given everybody a ticket, he'll come back around and collect the money for the tickets. All right. Anytime that you're going along and you decide you want to get off, all you have to do is just let them know, and they'll stop the bus and you can get off right where you are. So maybe you're going a little further than maybe where the normal bus stop is. Just tell the attendant when you buy your ticket, and maybe you're a mile past that, you just tell them to stop, and they stop, and you can get off right there. Now, this is something funny about the bus, all right? These people want to make money. So, if you're going on a trip and you stop at a traffic light and say 4 people get off, the barker on the bus, the attendant, I call him a barker because he's kind of like barking at people to come on, will get off of the bus and walk out into the sidewalk or the street and start telling everybody, come on, this bus is going to so-and-so and so-and-so, and come get on the bus. And people will literally come and get on the bus. They keep that bus as full as they possibly can. Now, maybe 4 got off and only 2 got on, so the next traffic light, he's back out in the street saying, this bus is going to so, come on. So it's a cultural thing, and it's really cool, and I laughed about it a lot. Like I said, the buses are great, and they're reasonable. They're very reasonable. You can get on one and ride for 3 or 4 hours, and it only costs a few dollars. So if you've got a long trip you're going on to, man, you might get a ride all day for $10. Who knows? I do know they're cheap, though. And all in all, I look at their mass transit as being a good system. Actually, I like it a whole lot better than having to own my own vehicle, having to pay for maintenance and, tires and gas and oil and repairs and stuff. No, you just get on the bus or you get on the jeepney and you give them what they want and you're done with it. You don't have to worry about it. So I really like it. Now, the only disadvantage might be if you're going to the grocery store. It's difficult to put groceries on a bus. Excuse me. It's difficult to try to bring your groceries home sometimes. But you can get a trike and get everything put on the trike pretty much. Or you can get a cab and get everything put in the cab. So it's not unrealistic. It's just a little bit more time involved in getting back with all your groceries. All right. The next question that I'm asked, is it really true there's no divorce in the Philippines? And can you get in trouble dating a married woman? Good question. Yes, it's true. There is no divorce. At the moment, the divorce is being considered and they talk about it. But as of right now, in the time of this video, they have not instigated divorce yet. It hasn't happened. I anticipate it will, but just don't know what time. Second part of the question is, can you get in trouble? And the answer, once again, is yes. In many cases, the women have been separated from their husbands for long periods of time, some of them years. I had one lady that I knew that I was talking to her. I talked to her quite a bit, and she told me she hasn't even seen her husband in 15 years and has no idea where he is, all right? In cases like that, you probably wouldn't get in any trouble for dating a married woman, because who knows even where the husband is, and he obviously don't care or he would be there. So you probably wouldn't have a problem. But what I want to tell you is use caution, all right? It can really be a hardship for these women who would like to have somebody and they feel like they can't because they could get in trouble. But so use caution, because maybe the husband hadn't been gone very long, or maybe his new girlfriend that he had kicked him out and he wants to come back. If he finds out that you're dating his wife, he could have you put in prison. So just be careful. Just use good common sense. Are Filipino women really as jealous as we hear? In short, yes. In the past videos, I've discussed it. You'll see it on videos that you might watch, and there's many reasons they are. When a woman finds a man she wants, she is fully aware that the competition is intense. She wants to hold on to him. So she's going to be watching you, all right? If she really loves him and she don't want to lose him, she knows she's competing against beautiful women. And something else she knows too. She knows for a fact that these women will come and take you if they can. I am serious about that. I've laughed about it many a time, thinking if a woman raised a cup of coffee up above where it blocked her eyes, 3 women on the side would be trying to get you over to talk to them. Maybe it's not quite that intense, but it's pretty close. You'll see what I mean. You'll see. It'll surprise you. It really will surprise you. All right. So don't be surprised. She's gonna watch you pretty close, and she's gonna be watching those girls, and you're gonna be walking through a virtual sea of beautiful women. So don't pay attention to them. If you've got your girl, pay attention to her. Even though she knows that you'll do the right thing, she also knows that those girls won't, and they'll be after you, so she's going to stand guard. Next question. One of the things that we often hear about is the fact that a man can find a younger woman. Is that true? We've talked about this several times too, and yes, it is true. Now, when I think about that question, I always just kind of smile, because I think, this is the land of second chances. It's a place where a man that has been through a divorce or has things have not worked out in the States for him can go, and he can find a young woman if he wants to. So I always think of it as the land of second chances. And it's very common to see girls with older men. Very common. You just want to make sure that you know why that they want to be with you. Some of them just want money. But you know what? Even that might not be bad, and I'll tell you why. If the man is fully understanding that the woman is with him because she wants money, and she treats him good, and he's happy knowing that and being able to spend time with her, then who am I to say it's bad? Okay? The only ones that you want to really be careful of is scammers. Many of the girls over there don't care about age. All they really want is a man that cares about them, that'll be with them and take care of them and spend time with them and help them from day to day. They have a hard life, and so if they've got a man that it's really good to them, shoot, she's good to go. And I can tell you, it'll happen. It will happen. And I see so many men that are 50, 60, 70 years old with girls or wives in their 20s and 30s. That's true. I always hear someone say, what do you want, youth or peace? But in all fairness, many of the young women over there have made very good wives. Very good. All right, the next question I hear is, do Filipinos make good wives? I like that question. In the last 16 years, I've met and made so many Filipino friends. Oh man, I can't even count them all. I have a high respect for the Philippine people. In my personal opinion, the women in the Philippines make excellent wives. They're often college educated, very beautiful, hardworking. Family is important to them. Oh, I like that. Their family is their life. You know, when you find a good Filipino to marry, you have a partner that's going to bring you many years of happiness, I can tell you. And did I mention beautiful? You'll see. Well, boys and girls, I think that for today that we're going to call it quits. But listen, be paying attention because I've got a lot more questions, and I will come back shortly, maybe even in a week, and we'll do another question and answer video. And I even had a thought today, you know, I'm talking about things that the Western men are asking, the question Western men are asking, but so many times I hear the Filipinos asking questions, and I never even thought about that. I thought, you know, you might even enjoy learning what they're asking about us and what they see and want to hear about us. So I'll probably do a video on that one too, but so be watching for the next one, because I hear so many questions and I know that a lot of them would interest you, and if I bring you that, that'll just give you more insight on what to expect when you get there. So keep an eye out for that one, and it'll be very soon. Now remember, subscribe. Let me know if you're learning anything or if you're enjoying the videos, and if there's anything that you want to talk about or hear about, just put it in the comments and we'll do our best to answer any questions that you've got coming in. Some I can't answer, I'll be honest with you. A lot of them I can. So if I can, I'll be more than happy to. Now, let's just slide on over to our next video.